Good day, one and all. My name is Kathy, and welcome to this episode of the Scrap and Crafty Gardener. Today's video is based on this past Friday's Craft Roulette Challenge number 232, where Catherine Pooler was the guest host. If you've not heard of Craft Roulette, I will have a link in the description box below to that episode so that you can check it out. They spin the wheel every Friday and tell you what project you need to make, what colors you need to use, what elements, and a random thing that you need to add to your project. So for today's project, we needed to make something with a French bulletin board, which is, it's like a bulletin board, but it has like ribbon wrapped around it so that you put things inside it instead of having push pins that a lot of us are familiar with. The color we needed to use was a winter dessert. The element, it has to have balloons, and random, it has to have beads. So I slept on it, and right before I was totally awake this morning, I had an idea, so I want to give it a go. First thing I need to do is tell you I'm using a cream cardstock. Some people call this ivory. I get this from Joann Fabrics. It's 110 pound, and it's called cream. This measures 10 inches by 7 inches. I scored it at my 5-inch mark, folded it, creased it with my bone folder. And now today I'm using 3 pieces of white cardstock that are 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. One I'm going to stamp and put inside the card. One is going on the outside of the card, and then one I'm going to make a mask with. So, okay. Well, let me get started on this now. The first thing I need to do is make my mask. I'm going to take this. This is a circle or an oval. It's about 4 3/4 inches tall by 3.5 inches wide. I could give you the exact measurements, but whatever you have will work. Any shape, any size. This is just what I chose to go with. So I'm going to cut this out. So I need my magic mat. And this shouldn't be too long of a card project today compared to some of my previous ones. Now I'm going to put that right about there. And then I'm going to run this through my cutting machine and cut that out. Okay. Now, this will be all the die cutting I need to do today. And this, I believe this is a Hero Arts. I know I got it from Joann Fabrics way back when, so I don't know. Okay, now, for my balloons, for the project, French bulletin board, and the element balloons, I have this little balloon here is from Practical Publishing from 2017. This balloon, I've had it for so long. And you can see it's been well loved, and I had used StazOn ink, which turns it a pretty green and pink. But that balloon, if you look at it, it has the crisscrosses that a French bulletin board does. So this is how I'm getting my balloon elements and my French bulletin board in on the same project. And I want to use these 2 stamps out of there. This one down here, I believe, that's another old one. That could be a Northwoods rubber stamps. All right, I'm just going to set those aside because I only need to use these 2. And for the colors, winter desserts for me means like pies, pumpkin pie. Yes, I eat it all year long, but it's more traditional fall, winter. Apple pie, cherry pie. So I picked some colors, and these are my old inks. These were the first inks I ever bought at a craft show. The Ranger Adirondack Earthtones. I have Butterscotch, Caramel, Ginger, and then a darker Espresso. So like if you, when you're having a pumpkin pie, and sometimes the pie filling gets on the crust and it looks burnt, but it's just the pie filling. So these are the colors I've chosen for that. And I'm going to use some sentiments from also Practical Publishing. This is one of the latest magazines. So I'm just going to set these aside because I don't need those right now. right, so I'm going to take, and pardon for the noise here, a waffle flower grip mat. And if you don't have a sticky mat, just tape it down to the surface. It's not going to matter much. And then this is going to go on here. Now, since this is the same size as this, I will tape this part down simply because they're both the same size. I could have made this a little larger. I could have used like a 5x7 piece of paper, and that would have worked just fine. Whatever you have, make it work. And this center I'll save for another project later on. It will never go to waste. And I'm just putting a little bit just to hold this down. So I'm going to ink blend, and I have my yellow and brown brushes already. I'm going to start with the lightest color, which is Butterscotch. And I'm just going to do a little bit on the circle, and I want to make sure I get the edge. Okay, got my Butterscotch, but I'm going to leave that there for just now. And then I'm going to go with the caramel, which is the next darker color. Then ginger. And I really love the ginger. It's got a nice red tone to it. And I'm going to go quite a bit with the ginger because the espresso is so dark. I don't want a whole bunch of the dark. Just a little bit, like you get on the edge of a pie crust. Well, sometimes you get the whole pie crust that way, and it's not the filling. You actually burnt the crust. All right. And I'm going to come back in with my yellow brush. And I'm done with my yellow, so I'll set that aside and then brush back in here. Now I'm going to get the caramel again. I want a little bit more shading here. Now these inks do not have the wonderful smoothing agent. So however it looks is however it's going to look. And then I'm just going to go back in with the ginger. So I want these to be a little darker and not quite as splotchy. I mean, they will even out a little bit and they'll dry back in color and tone. And a little bit more of the espresso. Okay. Done with the inks and the blending. Now I'm just going to pick this up. And there, I've got a nice oval on my card. And I'll just clean this off. Squeaky clean. It is stained, but it is squeaky clean. This was the greatest invention ever. It has changed stamping for me. Okay, now I'm going to stamp. I'm going to move that aside. I said this card is going to be fairly quick and easy, I hope. Now, I'm going to get my rubber stamps. Now, the balloon, I kind of want here and here. But I want to figure out how my sayings are going to fit in here before I do that. This one, I picked this nice Practical Publishing because it has Adventure is Out There, which I thought would be real nice. And then Let's Go Have Some Fun. Yeah, Adventure's Out There. So I want to see how they'll fit before I Adventure is Out There. Let's move you up a hair. And I want this balloon to kind of go off a little bit. And then let's go have some fun. I know that'll go down here, so that won't be an issue. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take the sayings off. I'll stamp those separately. And now I am going to use VersaFine Clear Nocturne. I thought about using Acorn, but I want this nice black contrast. And this this style is an easy, it's a one-layer card. And it doesn't take a lot of time, I'm hoping, except for the random element of beads. That may take me a moment. Because what I have chosen to use for that, it's the bane of my existence. And a lovely item. However, you'll see when I pull it out that it is not easy to store and makes a giant mess. I'm going to do one more just on the large one. If anyone knows where this stamp came from, if you could let me know. I know I got it at a rubber stamp convention, so it is one of the name brand companies. This is not one I bought at a garage or yard sale or flea market. It may be a company that's no longer in existence. I'm not sure. All right, so I'll clean this off. All right, now the sentiments. I know this one's going here. Do I want that crooked? No, I don't think I do. I think I want that straight. All right, I'll put them right there. And again, using the Nocturne. Should check placement on that. That one may be a little, no, it actually came out all right. I thought the bottom was going to be not straight. That's good. And I didn't condition those stamps either, and it came out fairly nice. Okay, done stamping. I have an idea that I want to do something with the edge, just to offset it. So I'm thinking, let me get another piece of white. Well, I'll just use this one for now. And I want to cut this down a little smaller. So let's see. Yes, I'll cut this down with the stamped. Yeah, that'll be just great. See, you get an idea in your mind, and then as you're working, your idea changes. So I'm using GinaK's Master Layouts 8. And I'm going to do this with the stitch die. And then I think I want to take the caramel and do an outside layer. that'll get me this. Oh, yes. Okay. And then I'll grab another piece of white so I can have it for the inside. I did not stamp that. I was going to. And then I'm going to cut this smaller. Because I think that it just needs a little more something, something. And see, this got the ink for my stamp because I didn't let that dry enough. But that's okay because this is going to be on the inside and isn't going to show. But that does mean I need to clean off the lid of my cutting mat. Because the Nocturne is a pigment ink, so it takes a little longer to dry. Now, that means I am going to get out my grip mat again. Let me put these back on my board before I lose them. All right. Trying to keep organized. Doesn't always work. All right. So I'm going to take this piece and the ginger. Yeah, I want the ginger, not the caramel, the ginger. And I'm going to just ink up the edges. Doesn't matter what the inside looks like, only the outside. So this piece measures 4.5 by 6.5. And the outside piece that I stamped on measures 4 3/8 by 6 3/8. That's the size of the GinaK Master Layout's 8 pieces. And I want to go a little darker along the edge. I really want this to show. Now, these inks have got to be, see if there's a date on them, at least 10 years old. But they still work beautifully. But as I said, they do maintain that splotchiness, so that so that's something you need to consider. I don't even know if these are available anymore. All right, let me see what that's going to look like. Oh, yes. Okay, that was a good decision. I'm just going to clean this up. Okay. Yes. If you can see, that definitely made a difference. So I'm going to glue these two together. I'm going to put the card together and then add my bead embellishment. Get that straight. Now this I'm going to pop up a little bit with some foam tape, and I got my new roll out. This is just 1/2 inch wide by, let's see if I can actually measure this here. It's about a 1/16 of an inch wide, if that. Scissors. Those are my foil scissors from I will look and see if these Ranger inks are still available anywhere. If so, I'll make a link below. They are old. Boy, I have never had to re-ink them. Of course, I haven't been using them as much since I got all of the GinaK colors, but they occasionally have colors that not available in other ink companies. at least that I have found. All right. Now, if you didn't want to stamp the images right on here, you could have stamped them and fussy cutted or used a hot air balloon that you had a die cut for. Or if you have a GinaK, which I do, most expensive paperweight I ever purchased. And I want to put a little bit of liquid glue on here. I got it to work twice, and then the mat had an issue, and at the price of the mats, I wasn't buying another one. Someday, maybe. Okay, so this will go here. All right. Now, for the bead part, I'm going to put beads on the crisscrosses on this hot air balloon, because if you've seen French bulletin boards, the one I've seen, I'm just going to make sure this is clean here. I saw a real pretty one with pink ribbon, and then it had little pearl accents where they crisscrossed. I didn't want to do pearls because I wanted to save this for a guy. This is the mess I'm talking about. These are micro beads, and I had them in a container, which obviously didn't hold it. These things are so tiny. So I'm going to take the cookie glue pen, which will go on blue. And let's see if this one still has a cap on it. All right, let's see if I can get it to work here before let's find a piece of scrap paper. Yep, there it goes. I'm going to put a little dot of glue on each of these crisscrosses. I got these. I used to do decorative pens. I'd put scrapbook paper around the pen. And then I'm going to put some down here too. And with double-sided tape on top. And then you put the micro beads on. And then heat up the beads and the adhesive, and it's stuck all around the pen. They're beautiful pens. All right, here goes. This is going to make a mess. I'm just putting these on here and then I'm going to put a layer on to try and get them to stick to the glue. And roll them around. Oh, and they are sticking. Oh, that's right. It's working. Okay. Uh-oh. Let me see what happened to my camera. All right, nothing happened. It just popped up an ad. All right, and if you can see them, the little beads are on there and they're glittering. Awesome. I might put some. Nope, that's all I'm going to put it. This is for a guy, but I wanted to get that element in there. So let me get these back into this wonderful bag. And oh, they ran out the other side. As I said, these are wonderful little accent accessories, but boy, oh boy, you will have beads everywhere. And then I put this back into another bag because if this ever springs a leak, and I've had that happen. Oh, there's a bag I took to Kennywood at some point in the past. Put that inside the other bag. All right. Okay, let me see if it needs a little something else. I'm going to get just a little bit of Wink Stella, of course. And I need to open up a new one. It has this little black cap when you get it. You need to take that off. And then I'm gonna need to squeeze it to get it started. Okay. And we got it started. So I'm just going to put a little bit on the basket portion. It's not going to be where you can see it. A little bit on the flag. And then I'll do a stripe across the middle. It just has to have more bling than those little things showed. But I don't want it to be girly bling. So I could see this done up in pinks and blues. And we'll do down here. Okay. Now, I want to do a quick stamp of a hot air balloon for the inside of the card. And I have not used this ink for stamping in a really long time. So I want to try it. I should have an extra piece of, there it is, on the inside of the card. I'm just going to put the small hot air balloon down here, and I'm going to try stamping it in ginger just to see how it works. It may need multiple. Not actually bad. One more. Okay, that looks good. I'll just leave that on there because I'll also put the same image on the envelope. Oh, might as well do that now. I'll show you. I always put a little matching design or something that coordinates with it on the envelope itself. So I might as well. Now, on an envelope, it is different paper than the card. So sometimes will look a little different. It might be darker because the color sinks into the paper. Or it might even be a different color altogether. There. Put this on the inside of the card, and our card is done. Well, our card meaning a card I'm going to get for somebody who's either retiring or graduating or just maybe going through a tough situation and you're going to take a trip together. Okay, let me go over the parameters now. Project French bulletin board. Yep, I've got the crisscrosses in this balloon, and I'll see if I can get that up there. You can still see the glimmer of those little beads. The color, winter desserts. I went with pies, pie crusts, pumpkin pie, apple pie. I kind of left the cherry pie out, but an element, balloons. Yeah, I got 2 hot air balloons. Random beads. I used micro beads on the crisscross portions of here. And that's the challenge. So I do have all of my elements. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got a few ideas today. And if you have any of those micro beads, be careful with them. But I can see these on a card that I plaster with maybe the Tombow glue and put those down and have it like snow or even raindrops. You never know. Okay. Have a great rest of your day.